Hi, we're April and Eric Perry from LearnDoBecome.com, and today we're talking about little bets and the secret to pursuing your dreams without fear.
Today we're excited to share a video, some information with you that's going to help tie to one of the areas of our Rise program. The program itself has 6 main areas, and today the video you'll see actually ties to discovering and living your unique purpose. And this is important because it's going to help you feel excited when you wake up in the morning, going about your activities for the day to really be able to move in the direction that you're passionate about.
So enjoy. Thanks for being here with us. Now, sometimes we have a tendency as humans to kind of overdo it. For example, when Eric and I were moving out of our first apartment, we rented a moving van for our supplies. And
so it was a 1-bedroom apartment, and I rented, furnished. The furniture was staying. We weren't taking it with us. And being the new husband, new father, I think I was.
Little baby.
I'm like, I want to make sure that we're taken care of, and we want to do this right? And so I went to the place, rented the truck, and I decided to rent, it costs a little bit more, but I got the 25-foot long truck, thinking, okay, that'll take care of it. I'd never really moved a whole apartment before, and as we loaded up the apartment little by little with some of our neighbors helping us, we literally got to about 2 to 3 feet of depth. Of
half the whole 20.
Half the truck. Half of the 25 feet. We realized we could have pulled our super old used Toyota Camry up into the back and driven it with us instead of driving it behind. And the rest of the space in the truck was totally empty. I could have done the 10-foot truck and still had room to spare. So we tend to think that we need to go big and figure everything and just go all out. And that was one of many stories that shows maybe not so much. We don't have to overdo it.
So today we're talking about how we can keep things relatively simple so that we can progress and we can move forward. Okay, so we want to tell a little story also about a story of 2 businesses, a tale of 2 businesses. Eric and I started a business called Husband Hero back in 2008. And we thought, this is pre-social media.
It's still a good idea. The technology and all that just wasn't ready yet.
But we got these little postcards.
Well, we put a lot of time and energy into developing the website and all this stuff we thought we had to do, right? Because this was 2008, 2007. And we just thought we had it all. We had to put a lot of time and energy, and we really overbuilt this thing. So much so, and now in a day of social media, and there was still some social media, we thought the best way to advertise would be to come up with postcards, okay? These little postcards, information about our offering and what we're going to put out in the marketplace.
And it was romantic ideas for husbands to use for their wives. That's what it was.
So it's going to be kind of this service to kind of help husbands be better at being husbands. Still super excited about the idea. Someday it'll have its moment. But the way to advertise that is we ordered up some postcards. And April thought, as she wrote up the notes,
20,000. I wrote down 20,000 postcards.
It was 50,000 cards.
How many boxes?
At least like 20 supersized boxes.
Yeah.
And as we realized this was not moving well or moving fast enough, we hired a couple of neighborhood boys. Shopping malls and big areas did not appreciate us being there. I'm sure nobody wanted stuff stuck inside their windshield wiper. We ended up getting through maybe one of those boxes. And so the other 19 to 24, however many boxes they were.
It stayed in our attic for
I had to carry all those up into our attic. We had very little space where we lived and just stored those boxes for
9 years. Yeah, years.
And when we finally moved, we decided we'd recycle those, and we were done with those postcards. So overdone.
And the business never actually earned any money. So we spent...
It had some revenue, but the expenses were in excess of the revenue.
We finally put it on the shelf. Okay, so we totally overdid it.
Someday she's coming back.
Totally overdid it. Okay, when we started Learn, Do, Become, however...
Not a little bit.
We had learned our lesson, and we thought, okay, we're just going to start simply... We're going to see what works. We're just going to see what value we can bring to people and see if they like it. So literally I used crayons and markers and drew the pieces.
Those are crayons and markers.
I drew the pieces of the command central that you see behind me. Like this thing used to just be crayons. I didn't even know how to use our scanner, so I just took pictures of it and then put that in the program. Literally, we made it with crayons.
Homespun and cobbled together, but the community that we were offering it to loved it.
Yeah.
It was the right feel and the right system for them.
It made it feel easy, and we were able to start growing our community. And now we have tens of thousands of people who are members of that program. But it didn't start because we invested all this money. It started because we used a box of crayons and figured out how we could serve. Now, the reason why we use this book, Little Bets, is because there's a story in here about Bill Hewlett, if you've ever heard of anything HP. But they had this idea.
He's the H in HP, Hewlett Packard.
They had this idea to create a scientific calculator. But they're like, I don't know if people are going to want it. Now, Eric happens to have an HP
back in
scientific
the day,
calculator.
This is my super old 12C. Still works, still awesome. But when these were first made, Bill Hewlett decided not to go gangbusters on it, but he had a different approach.
Yeah, they said, he said, how about we build 1,000 and see what happens? So they did. And you can read here in the story, this is page 21, 22. But they went ahead and did just the 1,000, and pretty soon they said they could barely keep up with the demand. It just took off. So they started with something that felt doable. Hey, we'll build 1,000 calculators. So the reason why we're bringing this up for you is because if you've ever heard of like the MVP, minimum viable product, it doesn't mean that you have to be starting a business or you have to be finding something to sell. But when you're looking to pursue a dream, let's just start with something small. I mean, let's say you want to be a singer. You don't need to go find the top producer in Los Angeles to approve you and tell you you're doing a good job. Start with something simple. Start with something local. Start with maybe just recording yourself and putting that on social media. But you want to start with something that just feels doable, and then those good things start to grow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just our encouragement. Think about us. Think about our tale of our
tale of two opportunities. This one still has legs.
And our 25-foot moving van and the things that we've learned in our lives. And hopefully you can think about that dream that you want. What's that first thing you can do? What's that little bet? What's something that you feel like, oh, I've already got the energy and ability to do this. Let me just go do it and then see how it works. Your dreams matter. And the things that you're excited about, those you want them to come to fruition. You want to be able to see things happen. Not everything's going to work out. Not everything's going to be like that $1 million idea. But we want you to be able to think about these things we've shared, little bets. What's a minimum viable product? What's this one little thing that I can do to move forward that doesn't feel hard?
And you've got tremendous ability. One little thought I'll just add in the end before April closes up is that sometimes we could get discouraged if we have something that falls short. Like if you rent a way too big moving truck or have a company that you didn't
advertise. Was so expensive on that. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll be hearing more about this later too. But having even a company or some effort that you started that didn't work out, it's okay. Sometimes we fall short, sometimes we fail, but we don't need to let that overrun or override what we hope to do. Every one of us has tremendous potential and ability. And so I think it's just a matter of executing on these little bets to find the right thing, the right way to do something that's right for you. And we promise it's there for you. We want to encourage you to be thinking, to dream, and to look for those ideas and abilities that you have based on your passions and experience to be able to create more that you're excited about.
It makes life really, really fun, right?
And super expensive gas.
Okay. If you want to learn more and you want to work with us and be part of our Arise community at Learn, Do, Become, visit learndobecome.com/Arise, ARISE. All right, see you there.
Take care.